Chapter 7 Disaster. "Oh, no," said Annie. "Oh, yes," said Jack. "I messed everything up. I ruined everything. It's like the time I dropped the Pilgrim's turkey at the first Thanksgiving." "Don't think about the Pilgrim's turkey now," said Annie. "Those horses might die," said Jack. "And when everyone figures out I caused it, Con will lose his job. Tuya will be blamed too. This will be the worst day of their lives instead of the best. It's a disaster. I ruined every—" "Jack, stop talking," said Annie. "We have to think." "I can't think. I feel too bad," said Jack. "Okay, you go ahead and feel bad. I'll think," said Annie. "Give me Morgan's message." Jack reached into his pocket and pulled out the paper. He handed it to Annie. She looked at Morgan's rhyme for a long time. "I think I know what to do," she said. "Listen. The wind on the plain spins wheels along." "Spins wheels?" she said to Jack. "Get it?" "What wheels?" said Jack. "Bicycle wheels," said Annie. "Spins bicycle wheels." "What?" said Jack. "The mountain bikes at the reserve," said Annie. "Tuya said they were for Echo Volunteers to ride, and guess what? We're Echo Volunteers!" "Oh, yeah," said Jack. Bike riding was one thing he could do really well. "Let's go," said Annie. "We'll find the horses before they get too far away." "Then what?" said Jack. "What's the rest of the rhyme?" "One step at a time. Let's hurry," said Annie. She stuffed the rhyme into one of her field vest's pockets. "Run!" "Okay, run," said Jack. Annie and Jack took off running away from the nomad camp. They ran down the sandy path that led to the nature reserve. A round white moon glowed above the distant hills. The night was washed with silver moonlight. The air felt alive with cricket chirps and whispery wind sounds. Jack and Annie hurried to the bike stand near the field station. They grabbed the two smallest mountain bikes. "Whoa," said Annie. "These bikes are serious. Lots heavier than our bikes at home." "Yep, and the tires are bigger and tougher. Can you handle it?" said Jack. "No problem," said Annie. "But can we see okay in the dark?" Jack looked beyond the corral to the huge open plain of the nature reserve. "Yep, a full moon helps," said Jack. "But now we need to check the rhyme and make a plan." Annie pulled out the rhyme again. "The wind on the plain spins wheels along," she read. She looked at Jack. "So maybe we just ride where the wind blows us." "We could try that. Then what?" said Jack. Annie read more of the rhyme. "Call out to the night, spin air into song. Use your own words, just do your best. Sing of wild things, let the wind do the rest." "Okay, that's our plan," said Annie. She put the rhyme back into her pocket. Wait, what's our plan?" said Jack. "Spin air into song, make up the words, the wind does the rest," said Annie. "That's a plan?" said Jack. "That's not a plan." "It's the only one we've got," said Annie. "Trust the rhyme." She started riding toward the open prairie. Jack gripped his handlebars. He started pumping the bike pedals. Jack soon caught up with Annie. The wheels of their bikes were spinning together as they bumped over rough ground. Jack felt confident on the mountain bike. He knew how to shift his weight. He knew when to bend his legs and elbows. He knew when to lean back, lean forward, and shift gears. After Jack and Annie passed the corral, the wind picked up. A strong gust seemed to shove their bikes forward. They started zooming over the vast nature reserve. The mountain bike swished through the dry grass. The thick rubber tires bounced easily over the ruts and small rocks. Jack loved the feeling of the strong wind at his back. "Look for the horses!" cried Annie. "I'm looking," said Jack. Jack peered into the distance ahead. As the wind pushed their bikes farther and farther across the plain, he saw 3 dark shapes at the base of the hill. "I think I see them!" Jack shouted. "Me too!" called Annie. "Near the hill." "Yes!" cried Jack. The missing Taki were grazing peacefully in the silver moonlight. Stop! Stop for a minute, Jack shouted. Now's the time to make a real plan. Jack pulled on his brake levers, but his bike wouldn't stop. The wheels kept spinning. The wind kept sweeping his bike forward. Something's wrong with my brakes. I can't stop, yelled Annie. Me neither, shouted Jack. Don't worry, the rhyme says, the wind on the plane spins wheels along, Annie shouted. Right, said Jack. Just go with it, said Annie. Right, said Jack. With the wind sweeping them along, Jack and Annie raced full speed ahead. Look! Above the horses on the hillside, shouted Annie. In the silver moonlight, Jack saw 5 dark shapes on the slope of the hill. Then he heard, "Ow!" He knew what the shapes were, but Annie said it first. Wolves! She cried.